I've commented before on how successful the Beatles have been in exploiting their archive. Since their last album came out in 1970, they've had new product come out every couple of years. No new material, but stuff from the archive, presented in various imaginative ways. But with the release of Now and Then surely this must be the last Beatles product. The very last. Oh no, if that's a pun, I wouldn't be the first. There will doubtless be a series of reimaginings by Giles Martin, similar to his work on Revolver and the Red and Blue albums. I don't mind these, and I can always return to my personal favourite re-release, which is the Stereo 2009 set if I want. So we'll get a drip feed of these, followed by a complete set in a fancy box, if you prefer physical product. And, of course, Beatles superfans have to buy everything. They'll make a lot of money for the Fab Four, dead or alive. But what's the ultimate Beatles re-release? The one we've all been yearning for. The one that really could put a cap on things and we can declare their work truly complete. I think the White Album, an ultimate version of the White Album, which isn't called the White Album, by the way. It's called The Beatles, but you know that. Now, in principle, this is easy. As we all know, the White Album, the White Double Album, consists of a collection of amazing songs with a collection of crap songs mixed in. All the Beatles have to do is issue the White Album as a single album, but include only the good songs. They'll probably then release another album of the crap songs. Oh, well. But there's a problem here, and you know what it is already. People's opinions on what are the good songs on the White Album differ. Google Perfect White Album and find out. I think very few people would include Wild Honey Pie in the good category. On the double album, it's a fun teaser on side 1 for the actual Honey Pie on side 4, but it doesn't really stand up on its own. But Revolution 9, many people hate it, but also many people think it's among their best work. For myself, when I play the White Album, I'm always pleased when Revolution 9 comes along. It takes me back to the 1960s when music like this was fresh and exciting. Still here? I suspect I'll see in my YouTube statistics that most viewers have just clicked away, probably to that dreary Now and Then rubbish, although I do like the video. So here's what I suggest. Different versions of the White Album as a single album, covering all of the songs, including Wild Honey Pie and Revolution 9, but only up to 45 minutes or so, which is around the duration of each disc in the traditional White Album. Clearly, it's going to be impossible to please everyone, and of course, this is where playlists come in, but I'm going to stick to what could be released as physical product. So I'm going to suggest 4 versions. I'll just let you think about that for a second, or pause the video to consider what criteria you might choose for each of the versions. So here's my idea. The John version, the Paul version, the George version, and yes, the Ringo version. So clearly the John version will focus on John's songs, the Paul version on Paul's. That's easy. The George version, well, of course it will have George's songs, but George only has 4 songs, if I've counted correctly. And that's not going to fill a full album. But of course the rest could include his good bits in the other songs, good guitar bits and good harmonies. John, Paul and George had great harmony, for which they are appreciated, but I'd say not appreciated enough. And the Ringo album, well, he only wrote 1 song, but he sang on Good Night, so that's 2. And the rest, well, Ringo was, and arguably still is, an amazing drummer. Is there such a thing as comment bait? Feel free. But I don't think it would be too hard to pick out songs that have some of Ringo's best bits on them. That's the way I'd do it, but another way might be for Paul and Ringo to choose for their own versions of the White Album, and perhaps a committee of Yoko, Julian and Sean for John's, and of course Olivia and Danny for George's. But over the 4 discs, all of the songs have to be included. So this is my thought for best single disc versions of the White Album. Which would you buy? Would you buy them all? Will it be the last ever Beatles product? In the comments. See you soon.